Hello gamers, the Drunken Gamer here. Today I'm going to be looking at the first few hours of Dragon's Dogma to give you a review on the game. From what I hear, it's been pretty good. I've been very excited following this game. Hopefully it lives up to its standards. One thing I wanted to mention before I get into the game is check out this t-shirt here. I have a lot of people ask me where I get my t-shirts from, and I absolutely love this one called the Deku Tree. Play on the book The Giving Tree, but with the Legend of Zelda. You can see down here Link and Navi, Forest Pendant, the Deku Tree. I got this one from Sanshi.com. They're a great little website for many different types of gaming merchandise, whether it be little pins, t-shirts, they even have some posters, so I highly recommend them. Check them out, Sanshi.com. Now gamers, I just wanted to show you a little bit here of one of the opening cutscenes. This is right after the prologue, which so far I'm not too impressed with the game, but we'll see as time goes on. Alright gamers, so I came across this here. This is right at the beginning. You can make your own character, and as you can see, you can give them a name, you can change the gender. Now this I thought was an interesting feature, which is why I'm showing it. And this is you choosing a moniker. And the reason why you're choosing a moniker is simply for people that have parental controls on. Now, I don't think it will really matter for anybody, but it's a rated M game. If you have parental controls on, odds are you shouldn't be playing this game. But they give you a whole bunch of different names that you can go by and choose. And as you can see, you can choose the different genders. I'm going to be a male, of course. It's going to be my name. Get that out of there. And then it asks you to choose the moniker. And you can see all sorts of different letters you can go by with all sorts of different names. Like I said, I don't really think it'll matter, but I just thought Capcom didn't really think this idea through. So gamers, this is my character right now. Kind of looks like Jesus. You get to basically just pick from some random basic skins that are already made for you. There's not too much in customization for Dragon's Dogma. The combat system's pretty straightforward. I can draw my weapon if I want to. I can put it back away with the sim button. You got your light attacks, your heavy attacks. You can jump. If you hold down R1, it brings up other attacks. So like that's a blink strike. If you hold down L1, you can block and do different things like shield summons, which will cause enemies to look at me. Now, one thing that I noticed on this game is you don't know how to swim. Sure, I can go into the water a little bit, but if I go in too far, you see this starts to happen. And then if I stay, my head's not even underwater yet, but ready? Here I go. So apparently I drowned there, but you don't really die, you just kind of get washed back up on land. So, I don't know, I'm not too fond of that. I don't see why you can't go swimming for a little bit. Okay, so the little fellow that you see in front of me here, this is Rook, and he comes from the Pond people. They're basically, as it was explained to me, emotionless things that aren't quite human, but aren't quite not. So they pretty much have minds of their own, they can run around, do their own thing. He's been running around gathering a lot of stuff. He'll fight, he'll run ahead of me. Cool feature in this game is you can pick up many things, such as this rabbit here. Let me just get a hold of him. It's a little tough, I'm doing this with one hand. And I lost him. Anyways, you can pick up many different things in this game, including little pots, animals. That rabbit totally just jumped off the cliff. Different things like that, and you can even throw them. One really cool thing is that you can climb up the enemies. A lot of the enemies are very big, and one good way to get them without them being able to deal too much damage to you is to jump up and grab a hold of them using R2. I'm not sure what it is on the Xbox, but it's pretty cool because once you grab a hold of the enemy, you can even climb them. So as you run around here, you can see some of the environment. It doesn't look too bad. Those dots up in the right hand side of the screen, you can ignore those. That's my lights, not something in the game. You can see the rabbit here, and I got him. Now, it looks kind of weird when you're holding them. Don't ask. They'll try to escape, but you can also throw them. And of course that'll kill them. I'll show you some of the climbing up later on. As you see, there goes Rook breaking shit. I'll show you some of the climbing up on the enemies a little later on. So after picking some flowers, I finally got to the encampment. This is the first encampment in the game. I talked a little bit in the written review about pawns and what they are. They are, for example, my companion Rook, who I showed you earlier. He's somewhere around here. Anyways, they come from these stones, rift stones, which when you interact with them, basically just open up a portal. So let's take a look here.
Well, Mentorist, can you hear our voice? We speak to you from across great distance. The whole Legion has awaited you. Pray, forgive this strange and impersonal greeting. This rift serves as a gate. It connects our kind to your world. It opens to the Arisen. For they possess a will powerful enough to guide the Legion. If you would claim to be among the Arisen, prove the strength of your resolve. Very well, and we shall guide you in your trial. If you are an Arisen in truth, this humble task will prove no obstacle. The Arisen must possess the valor to stand against all threats, and the power to quell them. A tireless spirit of self-improvement grants the strength to lead the...
So this is one of the first explanations of really what the pawns are. They're really an odd folk, and so far the story is not making too much sense. I showed earlier if you went into the ocean a little too far, this red mist starts enveloping you and you just kind of drown and get washed ashore. Turns out that red mist is a fog creature called brine, which hasn't been explained too much, but it started appearing after the dragon's attack in the beginning. Okay, gamers, so like I was saying earlier, some of the combat can be pretty repetitive. Might feel like a hack and slash. There's a few different things, and one of the things for the combat that really shines in this game is you can grab onto these big screen-filling enemies, like this troll here. He's swinging around. I'm going to try to run up behind him, and you can jump up, and you can literally grab a hold of your enemy, and then try your best to climb up him. Now, he'll do his best to try to shake you off and send you flying, and you can see companions and other AI will also grab onto the enemy. So I'm going to get right on his back here. That's Rook, he's my pawn. So I'm right up on the enemy, and I'm just going to start slashing away at his head, trying to take him down. And as you can see at the top, is his health bar. So he tossed me down. Let's get out from under his feet here. But it adds a whole new aspect to gameplay. Earlier I fought a Chimera that had the same thing going on, and 3 different heads, and one of the safest ways was to be on his back climbing. So now, after I was done fighting that giant troll that you just saw, I had to go back and return to the Riftstone, where I have apparently proven myself worthy, and it wants me to choose another companion called Pawns. So let's see what we got going on here. There are loading screens in Dragon's Dogma, but they are not too bad. They usually last maybe 10 seconds at most, and then that's about it. So let's see, pawn customization. I have a feeling this will just be like your main pawn customization, which is your character. So let's make a male here. Again, yeah, it looks to be exactly the same. So my pawn is just about done here now, and you can pick one of 3 classes that you want them to be. Not too much. My main character is a fighter, so I'm going to make my pawn be a strider. And as it gets to this load screen, hopefully it does this weird little thing that I saw before in the prologue, where basically just a black portal opens up above your head and your pawn drops in. So let's see. Apparently this load screen's a little bit longer. Coming all out looking like Shadow Link. There he goes. They always show you the little hand too.
Our fealty is sworn to you, Arisen. From this day, the Legion's men called pawns live and die by your command.
It's basically they're mine to do what I want with. Think of the possibilities. Alright gamers, so that sums up the first few hours of Dragon's Dogma. Overall, I'm having fun with the game. It can be a little bit frustrating at times. It does tend to have the difficulty of a game like Dark Souls. A nice big open environment like Skyrim, and the boss fights are really fun. They take up the entire screen. Reminds me a lot of Shadow of the Colossus. However, the game seems to fall short of all three of these games, making you wonder what this game could have been if Capcom had stepped up their game a little bit more. Overall, it's fun. I would recommend on holding off, waiting for a price drop. It's not worth picking up right away. Maybe even rent it to see how you like it. Other than that, I'd give this game about a 7 out of 10. Make sure to check the wordpress.com for the written review of The Drunken Gamer.